Christina and another man, Stephen Tallow, are called up. At least one of them is thrilled to be called up.
Christina, you want to come up? Stephen Tallow.
Hi, Your Honor.
Good, you can handle the next one, okay?
Okay.
The veteran was not aware of his red light violations, but he owns up to the others.
Mr. Tallow, you have two red light violations and 2 school zone violations. Is there anything you want to tell me about them?
I didn't know I was doing this stuff, Your Honor.
Right.
Evidently, the Pleasant Valley Parkway ones is going to the
sir.
VA.
The traffic camera caught the veteran running the red light. He offers no excuse for his traffic violation.
We're going to look at the red lights, okay? We're going to look at them. The light's red, and that's your vehicle. And the second one, Lisa, is 462.
Judge Frank brings up the speeding violation. Though the veteran can't recall speeding on his way to drop off his working daughter.
You also have 2 speeding tickets on Charles.
I looked at that, Your Honor. That must be taking my daughter to work. I can't see how I was speeding, though.
Judge Caprio does need the veteran to tell him what he already knows. He can smell the veteran from 10 miles away.
Were you in the service, sir?
Yeah, you're...
What branch of the service?
See my
No.
Vietnam veterans are allowed to receive special treatment after all they've been through, and many still go through.
What branch?
Your Honor.
Yeah. And where did you serve?
Vietnam.
You in Vietnam?
Yeah.
How long were you in Vietnam?
66 to 68, Your Honor.
You know, I have a very particular affinity toward those that served in Vietnam. Number 1, because of the service to our country, and number 2, because of the way they were treated when they came.
The vet does not want any special treatment for his service. We see a lot of veterans rise to take responsibility and forego special treatment. This man is no different.
I'm not looking for anything special as far as my military service, Your Honor. You know, that's up to you, your discretion.
Judge Frank highlights the exemplary character of the veterans he has encountered.
You didn't bring it up, I brought it up.
Okay.
And you are just like all of Vietnam veterans that I know. They're not looking for anything, all right? They're all real men. They're willing to take it on the chin, and they're not looking for anything special.
The vet confirms the judge's assessment of the treatment of veterans. It seems like he does not want to talk about it.
And unfortunately, when they came back from Vietnam, they weren't treated the way they should have been treated.
It's terrible.
Did you have any of those experiences
Yes.
when you came home?
Yeah.
The judge asks him how much he can pay, but the humble vet is willing to shoulder all the cost provided he is given time.
The total fines are $270. How much can you afford to pay?
I'd have to pay like in a time thing, Your Honor. I'm on a set income. If you can give me some time to pay it up, I'll pay it.
Judge Frank can tell the ex-soldier is not quite willing to accept, so he uses a different tactic that starts with a question.
How much can you pay?
I don't know, Your Honor. Whatever, you know.
What have you got with you tonight?
$50 maybe, something like that.
For all purposes and intent, the case is dismissed against the vet. You can see what it means to the former Army man.
I'm going to charge you $25, and your $25 payment is going to be paid. One of the many people who have sent in contributions to this court to be used in my discretion for people that I think are worthy. Fine you $25, you don't have to pay it. It's going to cost you nothing. So as far as you were concerned, the case is dismissed. We appreciate your service in Vietnam. Thank you for your service, and good luck to you.
Thank you, Your Honor.
Good
Thank
luck.
you.
Judge Caprio states her offense. She quickly gives the reason behind her action, which is helping a neighbor in need. Honorable, but done in a way that breaks the law.
Natalia Bastos, good morning.
Good morning, sir.
Good morning, Natalia. You have a parking ticket.
Yes.
Parking on the sidewalk.
Yes, parking outside my house, sir. If you don't mind me adding. So my neighbor actually scheduled a tree removal the next morning. So she came up to my house the night prior, and she asked if I could park on the street. I had moved the car the night before, so that she didn't have to deal with trying to wake me up the next morning.
Parking on the sidewalk attracts a significant fine, but Judge Caprio seems to understand her reason for doing it that way.
So you parked on the sidewalk.
Yes, on the sidewalk outside my house.
Now, you know it's a $100 fine parking on a sidewalk.
Yes, the street is very tight, sir, so I thought that was the best course of action.
You don't want cars hitting you, right?
Yes, I don't.
She reveals her job, and it turns out she is an active military woman. This prompts Judge Caprio to point out another veteran in the courtroom.
What do? Do you work?
Yes, I'm full-time in the Army.
What rank do you have?
Staff Sergeant.
Staff Sergeant?
Yes, sir.
Now, you know Inspector Carrigan was a Marine. You know,
I didn't know that, sir.
now you know it now, right?
Yes,
He was
sir.
a Marine. What was your rank?
It's easy to see that both the judge and the inspector are surprised at the number of years she's been in active service. Honestly, it surprises us too.
I made it to corporal.
You have to obey the sergeant.
I was there, I think, before she was born, though. How long have you been in?
10 years?
You've been in for 10 years?
Yes, sir.
Always been stateside, or you've been overseas?
Stateside only, sir.
And you're still in?
Yes, sir.
Doesn't look old enough to be in for 10 years, I'm sorry.
Judge Caprio drops a fact on why she looks so young, even after a decade of stateside service.
Because the Army keeps you young and vibrant.
It's a courtroom full of veterans as Judge Caprio reveals the hazardous role he played in the United States Army. Being a combat engineer sounds like hard work.
I was younger 100 years ago, but I was a combat engineer. You know that?
I did not.
Yep, I was the combat engineers. If a war broke out, we'd be the first ones. We used to go in the, they'd take us out in these God-forbidden areas, and we'd be building bridges across lakes and everything else. Say, because if we ever get attacked, you're going to go in and traverse from one area to another. So we'd be fighting mosquitoes and everything else. It was worse than being in war. I'm a veteran.
The inspector is not the only one in court that's partial to military personnel, regardless of whether they're serving or retired.
All right. Based on the explanation, I'm going to dismiss the case.
I appreciate that, sir.
You did. Sounds reasonable to me. Unless the Marine doesn't think so. What do you think, Inspector?
Oh, I think so, Your Honor.
You think so?
Yeah.
He's partial to people in the military. Good luck to you, Sergeant. The matter is dismissed.
Thank you, sir.
Frank Carl has 3 traffic violations he has to answer in front of Judge Caprio.
Carl Paul. Okay, you have a parking ticket, you have a speeding ticket, and you have a red light violation.
Yes, sir.
On the red light violation, do you remember this?
Frank is not penalized for his school zone violations, but he is fined for the rest of his traffic offenses.
I don't recall at all, sir.
You don't recall it?
I don't recall.
You also have a school zone violation.
Yeah, this one I recall.
And you have a parking ticket. Okay, it's going to. I'm going to give you a break on the school zone violation. It's 1 mile over what we've been charging for, so it's going to cost you.
The humble ex-armyman is willing to pay, but he needs an arrangement in place to ease his payment.
$115.
Is it possible to get some type of arrangement, Your Honor? Because I'm going through some financial hardship right now.
Judge Caprio displays an amazing sixth sense to spot a veteran just by observing the person talk.
We are talking like yesterday. You have any? Were you in the military?
It's sad to see a member of the National Guard struggling financially. You start to wonder if they're not paid enough for their service.
I am currently serving.
Right now?
Yes, sir.
What branch in the military?
Army, National Guard.
Where, in Rhode Island?
Yes.
Well, at least if you're thinking of tourist attractions, you know Kuwait beats Iraq.
Oh, you served in Iraq?
Yes.
And Kuwait. Tell us about that.
Iraq was pretty bad, but Kuwait's pretty nice. It's a nice country. Beautiful. Only thing that sucks about it is being away from family and stuff like that in the heat.
What about Iraq?
I wouldn't want to go back there.
No.
It's pretty bad.
Your family?
We all hope he gives in to the pressure. He seems like a nice guy.
You don't know? You don't know?
I mean, she's trying to pressure me, but...
Oh, she's pressuring you. Oh, she feels pretty good about that.
Yeah.
She figures she's making a good catch, but the guy's in the National Guard. I was in the National Guard when I was younger.
Judge Caprio has served his time as a soldier, and he's still serving his country as a judge. That takes real strength.
Oh, that's great.
Yep, I was in the Combat Engineers.
Oh, nice. Thanks for your service, Your Honor.
Yeah, 876 Combat Engineers. Did you know that, Inspector Quinn?
I did not.
We have a particular...
I think it's awesome that veterans go out for each other, even all the way from Rancho Cucamonga.
affinity toward people who served in active duty here. Many people watch actual court proceedings on television. They send in letters, telling me what a terrible judge I am, and not really. Telling me how they would appreciate how I treat certain people in our society. And I get a lot of letters about from veterans and people who want to help veterans. One of those, actually I have several of them, but one is from a Marine who was wounded in Vietnam, and he sent in a donation saying, I want you to use this to help a veteran. So we're going to use those funds. His name is Michael Mulrooney, Rancho Cucamonga, California.
That has to be one of the most hilarious addresses ever. At least the soldier thinks so.
You said Cucamonga?
Cucamonga.
Cucamonga.
Yep, Rancho Cucamonga, California. Right.
Judge Caprio shows appreciation for the court from one veteran to another. The Marine deserves it for his outstanding service.
We're going to use his funds, pay you $100.
Appreciate it, Your Honor.
I'm going to cost you any honor your service to this country.
Thank you, Your Honor.
Good luck. And I'm going to tell you something. You reflect very well on the military. You reflect very well as a human being. You have respect. You present yourself well. You respect the court. So you're free to go.
All right, thank you, Your Honor. Appreciate it.
Good luck.
The veteran doesn't even try to deny liability. He just wants to pay on the next convenient day. Judge Caprio has to slow down a bit, but you can tell he likes the attitude of the ex-soldier.
John Silva. Mr. Silva, you have you have 4 red light violations and 1 speeding violation. Is there anything you want to tell me about that?
The reason why I came here because I have to go get double knee surgery tomorrow. I just wanted to see if I can pay at the first of next month. So I have to go to 3 weeks rehab. I'll pay.
Let's see how much it is first.
This is a military man decorated with injury from service. He seems to be taking the situation in stride and without complaints.
Are you working?
No, I'm on disability from the military.
Tell me about your military career.
I was in for like 14 years and I went to Desert Storm and I got injured over there. So 85% service-connected disability. Death in this area. I got a couple of toes missing. They had to reattach my finger right here. But other than that, I'm doing good.
This is a hardcore veteran that got his hands dirty in the Desert Storm to make his country better. 14 years is a long time to be a Marine.
Oh, that from being in the military?
Yeah.
And you were in Desert Storm?
Yes.
And you were in the military 14 years?
Yeah. I would have stayed in 30. I loved it.
Branch of the service were you in?
Marine.
Marine?
Infantryman.
The inspector's veteran status is pretty well known at this point.
Inspector Carrigan was in the Marine.
I think I seen a show one time and he mentioned he was in the military with somebody.
The ex-military man's body has met the wear and tear of the active infantryman from a time when technology could not blunt the side effects.
Is that service connected?
Yes. Well, see, when I was in there, they really didn't have the knee pad things going on too much. Well, we didn't use them that much. Now, as you see all the soldiers now, they got the pads on, the elbow pads. You know, my knees took a beating like having to low crawl and, getting down in the prone position. You ought to know, but he knows. My knees took a beating. Over the years, they just kept getting worse and worse. So it's to the point now where I have to get them replaced.
Everybody knows where the case is headed. Inspector Carrigan is not the only one that's leaning that way.
All right, Inspector Carrigan, you know how I feel about people who served in the military, right?
Yes.
And so you know which way I'm leaning on this, right?
Yes, and I'm leaning the same way as you are, Your Honor.
Judge Caprio gave the veteran a much-needed break. It's a good gesture. How do you say thank you to such a man?
Your country honor. You served with distinction. You're not complaining. Said you stay in longer. Served in Desert Storm. The least we can do in this court is give you a break. I'm not going to put you on a payment plan.
The donation of many kind souls and the magnanimity of Judge Caprio comes to the aid of the former Army man. The ex-Marine comes out with a clean record and no fines.
You know why I'm not going to put you on a payment plan?
No.
Because I'm not going to charge you.
Thanks.
But what we're going to do is that, this court receives letters from people all over the world, and many of those letters say, please, and they contain money, and it says, please help somebody who served in the military. Those funds that we receive are called the Philomena Fund, after my mother. So we have the Philomena Fund here. So none of this is going to go on your record. None of it is going to go on your record. So I'm going to, the fines were $440. I'm going to reduce the fine $200, and we're going to pay the $200 from the Philomena Fund, so you're not going to have to pay anything.
Judge Caprio gives him a heartfelt thank you from one veteran to another.
But you're going to go, I want to thank you for your service to this country.
Yeah, you're welcome.
Actually, thank you for your great attitude. You didn't come in with a chip on your shoulder,
Yes.
And I think the least we can do to honor you, your service to the country, is give you a break. So
I appreciate it.
It's important to give back when you're given. However, Judge Caprio might be preaching to the choir.
All right, now, I don't have to tell you this, but one of the things you have to do after you get a break here is sometime in the future, you have to help somebody else, right?
I definitely.
I'm sure you will.
I will.
You've already done your part helping all of us by your service to the military.
Definitely will.
How do you feel about that, Inspector Carrigan?
Completely agree, Your Honor.
Okay, it'd be $200 paid for from the Philomena Fund. Good luck to you.
I thank you. I appreciate it.
That no-nonsense, super-secretive assessment has done so well, it gets a good reaction from everyone in court.
Morning, Your Honor.
Good morning, sir. Inspector Quinn, Mr. Hedberg is charged with speeding. Does he meet the profile in your judgment of someone who was a speeder?
Too much of product that we have copyrighted. There are some similarities, Judge.
The inspector uses his amazing power of deduction to confirm the assessment of Judge Caprio.
Yeah, no, he has the characteristics that he would be a tough call on the machine.
He can't read you. Something about him, he looks like he has sort of a military bearing, I think. What do you think?
Looks like he's got a Civil War hat in his hand, so I'll have to agree with you on that one. But
Life is all about perspective, but Inspector Quinn's perspective is way off the mark by a few decades.
Civil War? I'm not quite that old.
I'm teasing. From my angle, it looks like the old Civil War symbol.
I'm making that observation because I noticed that
Austerity did not favor the outcome of the war, but the people who fought in the war embody the strength of the nation.
that was the stated reason, and then history subsequently questioned some of the original intent of the war. history is now making a judgment on that. People who went and sacrificed their lives, they didn't question history. They did it out of patriotism toward this country, and you fit in that category. And that takes a very special type person, really does. Accordingly, Mr. Hedberg, this matter is dismissed.
Thank you very much, Your Honor.
Good luck to you.
Thank you.
Thank you for your service to this country.
This vet owns up after giving cause for his offense, but does not deny anything.
Good morning, sir. You're charged with speeding on Chalkstone Avenue. Is there anything you want to tell me about this?
Yeah. First of all, too far back from the school. There was no sign. I didn't say it was too late. I had to rent a car. I was involved in a car accident. I was rear-ended Friday, May 18th. And I got whiplash, my neck, my back, and lower back. And I'm still under doctor's care, chiropractor. I didn't feel good. That's for sure that day. Can I say? I did it.
Some people won't even do it at all, talk less of doing it again. Even Inspector Quinn agrees.
You have military bearing.
Yeah,
military
I was.
Guy.
16 months in
You were in Vietnam?
Twice.
Twice? You had two
16 months.
2 tours of duty? Did you volunteer or you got drafted?
I volunteered the first time.
What do you think about that, Inspector Quinn?
Good man, good American.
I'd do it again if I had to.
Telling a veteran he will be remembered as a statement of fact.
There's a special place in my heart for veterans of Vietnam because when they came back, I think they got a raw deal.
Yeah, they did.
My personal view.
I was just happy to get back.
Young people in the flower of their youth, and they went abroad to fight for their country, and they came back and they were scorned upon, putting their life on the line. It was just awful, I thought. It was not our shining moment in American history.
No, not for any of us.
But I want you to know, at least from my point of perspective and in my family, that all of you guys are remembered, guys and women who both served, are remembered, because we all feel a very special debt of gratitude to all of you who served. So you're not forgotten.
The retired soldier cannot believe the gesture. He has to confirm what he heard. You can see how much it means to him and everyone else in the courtroom.
I said, the least I can do is dismiss this ticket.
Dismiss it?
Yeah.
Fine with me. Thank you. I heard that.
You heard that, huh? Good luck to you, and thank you for your service.
Thank you, sir.